I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot.
Sup, everybody? My name's Dave. You might remember me from such things as Midnight Cowboy, Urban Cowboy, even Cowgirls Get the Blues, Brokeback Mountain, baby. Thank you for joining another week, West Coast Avengers. My name's Dave. Your name is Steve. Maybe it's Margaret. I don't know. Last time I went to the Bay Area, went to some flea markets, got some books. Well, it was 2 days in a row, two flea markets in a row. Me and Dave woke up hella early, and so why don't we just check it out, see some digging, walking around, checking out vendors, and then I'll show you the books that I got.
West Coast Avengers. Guys, it's still dark out. We're getting ready for the biggest flea market I've ever been to. We're gonna find some books. It's me, Dave. That Dave, this Dave, the West Coast Avengers. Let's get some books. Sitan Bata. Segwits.
The bags are here. It's called a tow truck. Taxi.
Hi, Dave.
So I just go up and down these roads. But these first ones are most exposed. But let's just hang it up here.
I'm with you.
So here we are at the Alameda Antique Fair at the crack of dawn. You get there really early to get a head start while everybody's setting up, and you buy an early bird ticket. And that's what me and Dave did with our headlamps, and we were ready to go to find some books.
Right there. Yeah, can we look at the comics?
Look at the comic books? Comic books are $1 each. Okay.
Okay.
Let me stick them up there.
Sure.
There you go.
So the first batch of books we looked at were pretty much just what you're seeing right now, Thing and a bunch of other stuff that really wasn't great, but it was a start. You know, we got to look through everything to find the treasure. There's just no way around it. So it seems that this one was not any treasure hidden, especially with all those X factors.
Morning. Is that comic books in that Tupperware over there?
Yeah, there's 2 Tupperwares of comic books.
Can we take a look at them?
Sure.
Thank you. Here's one.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing. Oh, wow. Thank you for letting me look through these.
Yeah.
Hi. This vendor was also at the flea market the day before, so we had looked through a lot of his books, but there were a few little Tupperwares of books that we hadn't seen yet. But as you can see, it was just kind of the generic late Bronze Age, early Copper Age, Luke Cage, and some other books. Nothing great, but still fun to look through. I've bought books from him in the past. He's always really good about giving deals, and it helps that his books are always in good condition for the most part. So when you're buying from him, you know you're getting decent books.
Oh, right here.
Now here's a prime example of why this flea market wasn't great for comics. Either the titles that were being sold were dollar books or quarter books that were being charged $5 or $6, or there were decent books, or even outright really good books, that were overpriced by about 50%. It's a flea market, so you shouldn't be buying things there for eBay premiums. It just doesn't make sense.
Good
Morning.
The comic books?
Oh, sure. Let me get them out for you.
Thank you so much.
My 50-year-old son.
50-year-old son's comics.
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting ready. He's got tons more at home. So.
Oh, he's doing the purge, huh?
Yeah.
There's Austin 98 in there.
Let me just.
Oh, yeah.
So we came across these two boxes, and the lady told us it was her 50-year-old son's comic collection. And we started flipping through it. As you can see, there's some spawns in there. They were just a little too pricey. I would come across a whole bunch of New Mutants scattered around there in the numbers from like 88 through 96 or so, which leads me to believe that there was a New Mutants 98 in there, but I'm sure it was sold long before this got to the flea market. Some of the prices were good, and then some of the prices I could tell were at a premium for, high listings on eBay. Some great underground stuff there, some of Tim Vigil's Faust, but I have the whole run of that, so I didn't need it, and Dave said he didn't want it. And then I started coming across some Watchmen books. The first book that I found was $5, and then the next couple books I found were $25, and they weren't book one. So I'm not exactly sure how he was pricing these, but there just wasn't anything that was worth us picking up. It started to drag on like this, unfortunately, until I did find a couple of books. And there's a first Todd McFarlane Hulk in there for $20. Decent price.
And they're priced. If they're not priced, it's $5. Check the back sometimes.
Yeah, I was feeling.
That's not bad.
No, that one's like a $5 book, but. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure out where to put this stuff. So far, I've seen all of them except the two that open the back.
What about these ones?
This next vendor kind of soured it for me. I was excited to look through his boxes. He had a lot of good comics and some graded comics too. But then I realized that he basically pulled all these comics because they were on the Key Collector hot list, and he priced them as high as the highest eBay sale, plus probably 20% on top of that. So it really was fruitless to look through this stuff, but as you can see, I tried to make him an offer on things, and he just wasn't having it. And that Dynamic Forces binder you'll see, he wanted twice what it's actually worth. Sabiak, Bagley, Tom Lyle, Sabusema, Sabiak, Bagley, Lyle, Buscema. This is fucking wild. This is the whole set of Maximum Carnage.
That's all Maximum Carnage.
I gotta see how much they want for this. This might be a good buy for me. Let me see. This book of the week.
Huh?
This is that book. Yeah, right here.
Just don't block walkways. Without even sound.
How much are you guys asking for this this binder?
I'm asking 500.
Oh wow! And how much is
Autograph. It's almost hand-painted.
how much is the Sleepwalker one?
I didn't price that one.
No.
I'll take $10 on it.
Would you do 30 on all these?
No, no way.
All right.
That one's autographed, and you know that's a really kind of hot book too, a little bit.
All right. Keep watching. Look over there.
Let's go to the
Police Academy. That's a McFarlane, right?
No, it's not. It looks like that one though.
I always get them confused.
Ooh, I love that cover.
That's a great cover.
$25. Yeah,
They do, or
they look super crispy. They're oh, no, thank you. They're in beautiful condition, but
that's the sleeve.
Ah.
That's a big book.
yeah, how much is that?
You guys want to ask?
Death Watch 2000. Whoa, what the hell is that thing?
A fish?
Yeah,
It's a paper mache or something.
that's so cool. Creepy. I love it. Yeah, I might buy that.
You just buy the.
Yeah, I bought your snap.
Last month, yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay. Postcards, yes. Where?
That's cool.
No, it's 15.
Mostly a cable run.
I didn't know that there were that many cable books. DC reprint.
I gotta get my eBay catalog, photograph, and catalog. So I have to find a group that
That's a sick drawing.
Yeah.
Shit.
get screwed up.
Here comes more cable. Finally, I found something that I was super happy with. It was a couple of long boxes of independent books from all different eras and all different publishers. And this is one of the areas that I thrive in finding good books in, as you'll see. Oh man, have you ever read this? Books of Magic?
Yeah.
What, how much are your comics?
$2 each.
$2 each?
Do you collect or you like this type of book?
Yeah, I just like the all kinds of books.
Yeah. I do too. Yeah.
Is this the right one though? This should be.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you saw them.
Ooh, ooh. Man, it's beat up, but I'm fine. This Stray Bullets number 1. Or number 2. I'll pick up the first edition of Stray Bullets. Ooh, Concrete.
There we go. Some concrete. Right when you said that.
Oh, dude, Sam and Max.
I used to love that book. That was like one of my favorite ones.
It's the first book. Yeah, I've never read it. Monkey Man and O'Brien, number 1.
I don't think I ever played the game.
Do you want this? Does this interest you? Art Adams, Monkey Man? Check that. Dude, this is slave labor. I knew this was slave labor.
Hi, how are you?
Just the plants.
Alright, guys. It's an Eddie Campbell book.
Watch yourself.
That's another Eddie Campbell book. Bacchus. Damn, dude. All Bacchus. Was this like a storage locker find?
No, I actually have like 10 more boxes of these.
Really?
Yeah, and I got them from, I own a record and clothing store.
Yeah.
And some guy came in and inherited them from his brother in Mexico.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it was, it's called Spinning Thread Sebastopol. But if you want to come check it out, I could show up for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I could do that just because
Yeah.
this is like the stuff I love. So I just picked this up. Treasury edition of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. And I thought it was pretty cool that the AT-AT walkers were supposedly inspired by the shipping yards in the Bay Area and the cranes.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. So, unfortunately, that was not the biggest finds at the flea market, but it was still fun for me. Got to experience it, got to get like 7 miles of walking in it at like 5 in the morning. The setting wise for that flea market was pretty neat, right next to the big shipping yards across the bay from San Francisco with the skyline in the background. So let me just run through some of the things I got. First was this, I don't even know which table I found this out, but it's this Wizard Edition Spider-Man 1/2. Comes with a certificate of authenticity. I just thought it was cool. I don't know, this might be the first cover appearance of all these Spider-Men together, which would be Spider-Man 2099, Peter Parker, maybe Ben Reilly, and the Spider six-armed guy. Don't know his name. Maybe his name is Marquez. This is Strange Tales, number 2 of 3 from 2003 when Joe Quesada was editor-in-chief. And this is a wild book. I can't wait to read it. I only just brought it home yesterday. But it features art and stories from like some of the best underground guys. Peter Bagg, Art Kiko Johnson, Matt Kint, Jim Rugg, our friend from Cartoonist Kayfabe, and Jonan Vasquez. So this is when Marvel was still taking chances and doing weird things with their books. So I'm excited to read this because it's not on the Marvel app anymore. I did find this young guy who had 2 long boxes of independent books, and I got flipping through that. I flipped through the whole thing. I found something from my people, Shalom Man, a Jewish superhero. I don't know anything about it. The Origin of Shalom Man, issue number 3, which is what I picked up. I just thought this was fun. The independent boxes led me to get some great books, including the Stray Bullets number 1, David Lapham's long-running series, something that I'd never owned, never read, so I could check out the first book and then I'll eventually buy the trades. Something I was very familiar with in the property of Sam and Max. This is a little trade paperback. Sam and Max Freelance Police. I used to play the Sam and Max game when I was younger on the computer. It's a LucasArts game. I'd never read the comic, but very familiar with the characters and really excited to get this. And then hit a nice little chunk of The Tick. So this is The Tick number 1, 4th print. Tick number 2, I believe this is a 2nd print. Tick number 4, 1st print. Tick number 6, 1st print, and then Man-Eating Cow, which is an offshoot, a character that you find in the Tick. I grew up watching the Tick cartoon, and as soon as I started watching the Tick cartoon, I wanted to track down some of the issues. And I read, I want to say the first 12 issues of the Tick when I was younger, and it's hilarious. The Tick comic is so much better than the show, and the show is great in its own right, but this is kind of unhinged. There's nobody really censoring it, so it's great if you're able to pick it up and read it. I did find a book by our friend William the Sankster Sankiewicz, Bill Sankiewicz, Bill Sankiewicz, Sankiewicz, Bill Sankiewicz, Sankiewicz. This is The Shadow number 1 from August of 1987. A beautiful cover by Bill Sankiewicz. Bill Sankiewicz did some great stuff for The Shadow. One of those books where Sankiewicz does the cover and the interiors, so I'm excited to check that out and just flip through it. Shadow, once again, one of those properties that's been around since the dawn of time. The radio show, and then the comics, and then the radio show, and then the movies, and then... Anyway, Sankiewicz. And of course... when I can, and I find it, I see Todd, I buy Todd. This is Marvel Tales number 228, reprint of Spider-Man from the late 80s, early 90s that they would repackage with a new McFarlane cover. I'm always looking for higher grade copies of Marvel Tales because they are printed on garbage Marvel paper. So this is a really high grade copy, which means I can get rid of my other copy and see Todd, buy Todd.
Shut up, Matt Ritchie.
The last 2 books I'll show you, this was a nice little find by other Dave C, but he didn't want to buy it. Macross number 1, a hot book because it is the first appearance of Robotech in comics, and Robotech just recently kind of got a buzz because they're rebooting it and they're redoing the cartoon, I believe. Maybe found this that one table where he was selling Transformers number 1 for $150. He had 3 copies, and then this copy I think I paid $7. So the one issue I had with this flea market was that there were a couple dealers that were selling books at prices that you would find at a high end on a comic shop, which when you go to a flea market and an antique fair, you're not trying to pay prices that you would pay at a comic shop, because then what's the difference? Why wouldn't you just support your local comic shop? It wasn't the greatest for finding books, where the previous flea market the day before was fantastic. Dave passed up on buying this, where I thought it was a great buy. Technically the biggest Boba Fett key in size that exists. This is the Empire Strikes Back Treasury Edition. What can I say that that hasn't already been said about Empire Strikes Back? Al Williamson did the art. I believe Archie Goodwin wrote the story. The art in this is fantastic. And this, I was stoked to grab this. The guy wanted $20 for it. I gave him $20 for it. The price sticker's still on it from Toys R Us, $1.87. So the inflation wasn't too terrible on this from 1980 to 2022. 42 years, it was only a $18.13 price increase. I can live with that. So that was it for the day. A little side note. The gentleman that I met who had all the independent stuff let me know that he had another 10 boxes worth at his store about an hour and a half north of the Bay Area. I took a drive up there the next day, and I went and I looked through all those boxes, and I came home with like a stack of about 100 comics, including the entire run of 8 Ball, the entire run of Black Hole, V for Vendetta. So it was great. I made that connection there, and ended up spending a whole bunch of money at his store. So check out Spinning Threads in Sebastopol, California. If you see this video in time, they probably still have some of that same stuff left. You can also find vintage clothing and vintage records there. A great shop. So that'll be it for this week. I had a great time just digging around at the flea market, walking around. Me and Dave do this, and it's just a lot of fun. Please like, follow, subscribe, all that nonsense. Check out the link tree below, right down there. You get links to my Instagram, where I do claim sales every week, link to Whatnot, where I do a sale every week, link to Dave's art store. Comment below what are the favorite things that you're seeing that I'm finding. What did you see in the video that I passed up? What did I miss? West Coast Avengers! And a big shout out to you, my lovely followers. You follow me into the black hole of comics. I don't know what's fucking wrong with me, guys.